It promises to be inspiring. We are focused today on discovering the EB2-NIW route to the US green card. We've had multiple open days on the eMigr8 platform, focused on different visa opportunities. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities for relocation and settlement. We've had different open days focused on the US, on Canada, on the UK, France, Germany, and several countries of the world who are all trying to attract globally attractive talents. That's what we focus on the eMigr8 platform. And today we are focusing on the US, United States of America, and the visa route we're focusing on specifically today is the EB2-NIW route. You would remember just a month ago, we focused on the O1 route. You'll remember that aside from the US, for those that have been following the eMigr8 platform and those of us in the eMigr8 community, you would remember that we've talked about the UK Global Talent Visa, UK Startup Visa, and several different visa opportunities. All of these opportunities have a common denominator, which is that if you are globally attractive, you have options. This session today is going to be at least 1 hour, 30 minutes, and it's going to be packed full of information, packed full of inspiration. We look forward to getting your feedback at the end of the session in terms of how helpful this session has been. This route has a pathway to settlement, and this route is one of the pathways where you can actually move with your family. This route is one of the routes where you can plan as a beginner. You can plan your route to say, even if you are not yet qualified, you are able to plan over a period of time for you to be qualified. And so it's really, really exciting, and you're welcome. Thank you for joining us for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. And in case you're watching the replay video, fantastic as well. You can drop us a comment. Let us know where you are joining us from. I would like you to do that in the comments now, or you can drop, if you're on this call live, I would like you to just let us know where are you joining us from for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. In addition, do let me know if you can see my screen, and hopefully you've been hearing everything I was saying all along as well. So do let me know this in the chat so that we know that we're speaking to you. eMigr8 focuses on a tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. I see your comments, I see your messages. Please keep them coming. It gives us feedback that, we're speaking to you. Today's edition, we're going to start by focusing on, for a few minutes, we will just talk about what eMigr8 is and what eMigr8 is not. The platform eMigr8 and the community eMigr8. And then we'll dive straight into the session on discovering the EB2-NIW route to the US green card. Our coach is already in the room. Bumi Dayo Ayani is already in the room. And some of our colleagues would also be joining us during the question and answer session. If you wait till the end of this session or you watch the video to the end, we do have a gift for you. And so we encourage you to do wait till the end of the session and make sure you get as much information as possible. During this session, we will talk briefly around our package, Settle in the UK as a Tech Talent. We will talk about that. And we will also talk about a number of other attractive offers that can help you on your journey towards relocation and settlement. As you will have noticed in the name, eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. We're not going to be talking about the healthcare route or the student route or any other route towards relocation. Our focus on the eMigr8 platform is around technology. And when I say tech, I'm not just talking about the technical side of technology. I'm also talking about the business side, the non-technical side of technology. So please bear that in mind. And also, if you're an absolute beginner, never done anything in the field of technology before, you are still in the right room. The reason why I say so is because within a few months, you can get yourself into the field of technology. And also with this world where skills are transferable, you can actually start becoming a renowned person in the field of technology in just a few months. And don't quote me, you would find many people on the internet, many people that have made millions and maybe billions in the field of technology, even though they only stumbled on the field. You can be one of those as well. So as a beginner, you're welcome. We will talk a little bit about different pathways for a beginner. But this session today and the visa opportunity we are talking about today is for advanced people. So if you have a UK master's, or if you have a master's degree or a PhD degree, if you have more than 10 years of experience in the field and so on, this pathway is likely for you because you are likely already qualified or you are close to qualifying. You may just need a bit of guidance, coaching, and holding for you to qualify. So please bear that in mind. If you're a beginner, don't tune off. What you should be doing is planning to say, oh, even if I don't qualify yet, I can qualify very soon. And if you're already qualified, please listen up as well. We have a lot of information for you, some tips that you can use if you are doing it yourself. We have a number of community members that choose to do some of these things themselves, and that's absolutely fine. eMigr8 community is here to help you. And it's also available if you need a bit more support. That's also fine. eMigr8 is available to help you. I must mention that this is not immigration advice, neither is it legal advice. What we're doing on the eMigr8 platform is that we are sharing from the wealth of experience and knowledge and information available to us. And so please bear that in mind as well. We are not visa consultants or anything like that. We're actually technology experts. We are actually experts in our field who is bringing information to you that you may not already know and who is available to coach and hold and help you take a journey that some of our coaches have taken in the past and some of our coaches have helped many other people to take in the past. We've done multiple open days on the eMigr8 platform, focused on different visa routes. We've had open days focused on the UK Global Talent Visa, on the Australia Global Talent Visa, on the UK Innovator Founder Visa, on the US O1 Visa, the US EB1 Visa. Today's session, we're focusing on the US EB2 Visa, and there has been several of those open days that we have done in the past. Many of these replay videos are available to you as a member of our community. Wealth of experience has been shared, and we encourage you to take a look at those videos because they may be useful for you, particularly if you are planning your journey or you are currently in the process of applying. Many of these videos are available at no cost to you, but they are available to you. You can just ask in the community to say, I'm looking for resource on this, or I'm looking for resource on that. Today's edition is focused on the EB2-NIW route. However, if you have questions on any other route, you can ask. If we need to redirect you to a different session, we will. And if we can continue the conversation in the community as well. I'll just mention that we do have this package that we're currently promoting for the UK, not the US this time, for the UK. But this is an amazing package that is recommended. And so if you fall into the category of looking at the UK for a pathway to settlement, so either you're already in the UK looking for a pathway to settlement, or you're looking to move to the UK, if you've ever tried to consider the UK student route as a pathway to settlement in the UK, you may want to consider this even as an absolute beginner. Absolute beginners are welcome. If you already have some experience in tech, even better. And if you already have some experience in the startup space, even better, right? And this package is available. If you're interested, you can just send a message to eMigr8 and they will be able to point you in the right direction. The open days, we have more open days coming up on the eMigr8 platform. We have open days focused on the UK Innovator Founder Visa, open days focused on the UK Global Talent Visa. We have open days around the move to the US as a global talent, as a tech talent as well. We have sessions around the Canada Startup Visa and several other sessions like that we are inviting you to. We do open days on a regular basis, at least once a month at this point. We do open days where we bring in coaches and we share a lot of information at no cost to you because you're a member of a community. We're building that community of like-minded people who are interested in showing themselves and becoming globally attractive. For a moment, I'll tell you what eMigr8 is about. I'll tell you what we do on the eMigr8 platform. The visas themselves is really a side effect of a bigger objective. For us at eMigr8, the objective is that if you are globally attractive, you would have options. Now, the reason why that is so is because many forward-thinking countries of the world have realized that the war right now has to be a war to bring in talent to their jurisdiction. They realized that talent is the new oil. So oil was a big deal in the 70s and 80s and all of that. Now it is about talent. If they are able to attract the right talent and the best talent in the world into their jurisdiction, they believe their jurisdiction will be better off. And so they've made a lot of different pathways, visa opportunities available to you if you are able to show that you are globally attractive. What we do on the eMigr8 platform is to help you become globally attractive. We do that in two ways. It could be about your tech profile as an individual, or it could be about your tech startup, your business. As an individual, if you're able to show you are a highly recognized professional, sometimes at the intermediate level and at the advanced level of your skill, or as a startup founder, you are able to show that you are doing things that are innovative, viable, scalable, and several ways like that, the countries of the world want you. They want you to move to their jurisdiction. They want you to work there, live there, bring your family there, because net, they know they are better off. They are not doing you a favor. The visas are available because it benefits them as an economy. That's the reason why they're available. And those are the visa opportunities that we focus on for you as a tech talent, and as I mentioned, even if you're a total beginner, you can become a tech talent within a few months. That's what eMigr8 does. That's what we focus on the eMigr8 platform. And so our services cover things like information, general inquiry. It covers things like inspiration. So like the session you're on today or watching the replay video, we're trying to inspire you and inform you about one visa opportunity or the other. It also covers things like hand-holding. It covers things like coaching that you may need for you to be able to take that next step. Even if you are doing it yourself, the community is available to support you at no cost to you. And then if you need a little bit extra as well in terms of a roadmap, or you need somebody to actually handhold you through the entire process, eMigr8 is available to help you do that. An example with the UK Global Talent Visa would be if you need help with reviewing your application, whether you're doing it yourself, or you need help with working on your application, or you need help because you've applied yourself, you got rejected, and you're looking for an endorsement review in terms of an appeal and so on, eMigr8 can help you with that. And it gets better. Most of what we do on the platform, we actually do at no cost to you. We do for free. We run a freemium model. We are a business and we are a startup at the end of the day. But what we do is we run a freemium model where many of the things we do, over 80% of what we do at no cost to you. And then we do charge a premium for some of the things that we do as well. So a very interesting model. On the free side of the eMigr8 platform, you will find our information and inspiration session like today's session. You will find the eMigr8 community. And we have the community on multiple platforms: WhatsApp, Telegram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and several different platforms. We have the open days where we bring coaches to come inform and answer questions. We have introductory videos for many of the visa opportunities that you're talking about. We have visa-specific office hours. And as I mentioned, if you wait till the end of this session, we do have a gift for you as well. And we'll tell you how to claim that gift. It has to do with the short inquiry sessions. On the premium side, we do have the eMigr8 Circle, which is a premium community. If you are doing your application yourself, you may want to join the premium community because Other people that are doing it themselves are also there, and you can share notes, you can help each other, and so on. And the coaches are also available to help. We do have personalized coaching services. We do have standard package, eMigr8 Premium, and several others. If you're interested in any of this, where you want to go is eMigr8visa.com or any of the links on the screen. I know my colleagues will drop the link as well in the chat and also on the call, eMigr8visa.com, and you can let them know what you do need. eMigr8 has packages as well, focused on different visa opportunities. So we have a package for the move to the UK as a global talent, and that focuses on the UK global talent visa. We have a package focused on move to the US as a global talent, the US now, and that focuses on the US 01 visa, which is the visa for individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement. You will find out that we are also talking about a package today on the US EB2-NIW, National Interest Waiver, and our partners and our coach on the platform will talk a lot more about that right after this session. We have the Settle in the UK as a tech talent one. I mentioned it earlier. And eMigr8 community, you may want to take a screenshot. That's a link to the different eMigr8 community. We encourage you to ask questions there. We encourage you to share information as well, because you have other like-minded people on that platform. eMigr8 is currently being incubated by a company called Beacom Dev Center. And within Beacom Dev Center, which is a talent development platform, there are a number of services that may be of interest to you on this journey as well. I'll start with talking about the Beacom Global Tech Program. And with the Beacom Global Tech Program, it helps you to learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of technology. I mentioned earlier that if you're an absolute beginner in the field of technology, this program is recommended for you because it doesn't stop at the skill level. Nobody really cares about you if you don't have any experience. It adds experience and adds exposure to it for you all at the same time. And that's the Global Tech Program. But then if you're at the intermediate level in terms of your skill and you realize that you don't have the right experience, this program is also highly recommended for you because it will start you not at the base level, it will start you at the intermediate level and get you to your next stage very quickly. It's an accelerated platform that helps you. This is one of those, which is just a 3-month subset. The full program is 1 to 2 years long, but we do have a subset for just 3 months. Within 3 months, you're able to move from one stage to the other. And it gets more interesting because you get a UK company reference, you get real-life experience working on real-life projects. And this is a pathway to landing tech visas that are available at the intermediate and advanced skill level. And so you may want to take a look at this to say, if you're an absolute beginner or at the intermediate level, this is something that accelerates your journey very quickly. If you're an advanced person in the room, one of the ways in which you can show yourself as globally attractive is by mentoring, by giving back. But you have to do that on a structured platform. If you are one of those people, we encourage you to register or apply on the Beacom mentoring platform. It's highly competitive. We are not able to bring in every single mentor that registers, but first thing is to register, and then we are able to assess, and based on that, you may be brought on board as a mentor, and that gives you evidence that you can use for some of the visa opportunities we will talk about. Labs by Beacom will help you start building a startup. It's a pre-incubator program. It brings you together with other like-minded people, 3 to 10 people, in a 3 to 6 months program where you are able to build a product that real life customers will use. That becomes an evidence for you in terms of being globally attractive. It's also a portfolio for you, and you would be able to get company references and so on with the Beacom Dev Center itself in terms of being able to show that this is part of your contribution to the ecosystem. And who knows, you may be able to move that startup from pre-incubation to the incubator stage, and maybe even to the accelerator stages as well. Labs by Beacom is available to you if you're looking for that opportunity to gain startup experience, or you're looking for an opportunity to have a startup in your CV or your portfolio. The last service I will talk about from Beacon Dev Center, which is a talent development platform, is the tech career coaching. This is only available in the UK today, but we're working really hard to extend this to many other countries and many other jurisdictions. It helps you to land your next role faster. And some of those roles will come with a certificate of sponsorship, work visa sponsorship. We help you to build the relevant experience in your target country, the UK specifically right now. We help you by connecting to technical recruiters. We help you by working with you to ensure that your profile matches, and we're able to handhold you through the entire process to land your next role faster. And that role could, if you need it, that is, come with sponsorship, work visa sponsorship. It's tech employment and recruitment services for individuals. I'm almost done, and our coach will be coming on board right away. For some people, this is a slide that you want to take a screenshot of. If you are new to the landscape, this is a slide you want to take a picture of, because I've talked to you about the fact that many forward-thinking countries of the world have made different visa opportunities available. And these are some of those visa opportunities that are available. In the UK, if you're a startup founder, you may want to look at the innovator founder visa. In Canada, may want to look at the Canada startup visa. If you are a talent that is globally attractive, you may want to look at the UK Global Talent Visa. You may want to look at the US O1 visa, the EB2-NIW visas, the German blue card visa, and several other visa opportunities like that across the world. They all have that same common denominator. They all have the common denominator to say that if you are globally attractive, you have options. And then it's up to you to be able to take a look to say, oh, fine, which are the ones I already qualify for? Which are the ones that I could qualify for within the shortest possible time? Which are the ones where I would like my family to move to if you have a family consideration, and several other considerations like that. This is just an insight into the landscape, and we do have the eMigr8 visa landscape available. I'll talk about that in a moment. Lowest common denominator, as I said, is that be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you would have options. From an eMigr8 perspective, we focus on visa opportunities that have a pathway to settlement. I already mentioned that for now, eMigr8 Tech Visa focuses only on technology visa opportunities for now. Over time, we may expand, but for now, we are focused on tech, but absolute beginner welcome, even though we would then direct you in the field of technology. But we'll focus on visa opportunities where you can move with your family and you can plan as a beginner. And so this landscape is what I was just going to mention to say this landscape is available to you at no cost to you. What our team has done is that they've actually looked at many of the visa opportunities and they've tried to digest it to say what are the qualification criteria, what is the roadmap you would need, what is the cost, what's the pathway to settlement for newbies, for intermediate people, for experts in the field. And they've done all of that work for you and they made it available to you at no cost, which is the eMigr8 Tech visa landscape. And this was done at the end of 2023, and we intend to continue doing that on an annual basis. It's available to you. Just take a look at emigrate-visa.com. The eMigr8 app is also going to launch very soon. We are really excited. I've seen some demos of the app and really excited about the work that the team has done so far. emigrate-visa.com is where you want to go to, and then you can take the journey from there. Don't forget that what we said is that even if you do not qualify, and I have 2 more slides before our coach will come on board, even if you do not qualify, what you should be doing is that you should be planning. One moment, please. If you do not qualify, what you should be doing is that you should be able to plan. You should be planning your journey. You should be planning what it is that you hope to achieve. You should be planning what it is that you want to be doing. The journey from newbie to globally attractive requires a personalized roadmap. There are visa opportunities along the line, from the newbie perspective to the beginner, to the intermediate, to the expert perspective, but it requires you to plan. And of course, if you're already an expert in the room, fantastic. We are talking to you primarily on this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Because this edition of eMigr8 Open Day, we are talking, our coach is going to be sharing. And then right after our session, Bumi session, we will then go into question and answers. We will not have a chance for you to come on stage to ask the questions real life on the call. What you would need to do is type your questions in the chat. We understand you can't unmute yourself as well. Type your questions in the chat. Type your questions in the community. The community managers are looking at the communities as well, and they will be able to bring up as many of those questions as possible. Today's focus is discovering the EB2-NIW route to the US green card. Don't forget, this is not immigration advice. This is not legal advice. This is us sharing general information that we believe would be useful to you. No two people are the same. And then you are able to use that information to plan your journey. And if you need a little bit extra, we do have the one-to-one sessions that you can book, some of them free. And we do have paid one-to-one sessions that you can book as well if you need that. And if you're interested in a specific eMigr8 package, one of which will be discussed today, you can also let us know and we can take it from there as well. So Bumi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us at this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. The floor is yours.
Thank you, B.
Go ahead, Bumi.
Okay, I wanted to wait for you to spotlight me. I don't know if you would. Okay. Hello, good afternoon and good evening. I know that it's mostly a table of men, but please bear with my fine face for now. So good to have everyone on the call. I'm so delighted. Thank you, Bade. I've known Bade for over 20 years now and still counting. It's been a delight seeing how Beancom has grown. I've been a friend of Beancom and seeing all the amazing things they're doing, especially with eMigr8. So thank you so much, Bade. And when he reached out to me about the EB2-NIW, I said, you know what, this is a very good visa, especially for tech talents who are looking to find a more permanent route. I'm not here alone. I'm here with my partner in business. His name is, I like to call him Professor. Professor Chidi Okem is on the call as well, and he will take a part of the presentation while I take a part of the presentation. First of all, I'd like to introduce who we are. We're partnering with eMigr8, obviously, and we are My Yankee Travels. That's the name of our firm, My Yankee Travels. And this is basically an overview of the services that we offer, which includes the USA Migration Pathways, which is what we are focusing on today, which includes the EB2-NIW, EB1, and the O1 visa. But for today, this particular session, our focus is on the EB2-NIW service. And basically, yes, the EB2-NIW, like I like to call it, is mostly an employment-based visa for foreign nationals who already have an advanced degree. So it basically means that whether it is a master's that you have or a PhD that you have, it's an advanced degree, and that gives you an advantage. And it's basically to say that, look here, because I have an advanced degree, my work is considered of a national importance, and they should therefore waive that waiver of getting a job so that I can file for my green card directly. And so you will be able to gain permanent legal residency in the US Because what the EB2-NIW does for you is that you're able to move from just being a work authorization into actually getting a green card. So it's actually a route to a permanent. And after 5 years of being on green card, you can actually move to become a United States citizen. I like to call the EB2-NIW the biggest lottery ever, the biggest joke ever, because this is probably one of the cheapest you would get in terms of getting into the United States. Most of what they have had before now has always been the investment visa, which is like $150,000. You have different pathways that people H-1B, which is the lottery based, and has been it has been declining of recent, because imagine getting professionals just to do lottery. And sometimes we could see the shortfall last year with the tech when there was so many layoffs and a lot of H-1B visa got stopped because they were dependent on their employers. This visa actually gives you the freedom to be able to not be tied to any employer whatsoever, to find whatever job, leave whatever job, and just move different places and be the manager of your own career. And who are those that are qualified for this EB2-NIW? Technology professionals, STEM professionals, medical professionals, business professionals, even athletics, arts professionals. All you have to do is prove that and this is what you need to prove. I call it the three-prong test, as most of you may know about it, that your proposed endeavor is of substantial merit and of national importance, and that you are well positioned. And that well positioned is very, very critical. You are well positioned to execute your proposed endeavor. When you hear proposed endeavor, you're like, what are they saying, proposed endeavor? It simply means that what career pathway do you want to choose? Now, as a tech professional, you can decide to position as an IT professional. You can decide to position as an IT consultant. You can decide to position as a software engineer. You can decide to position as a cybersecurity expert. You can decide, I mean, all of the offerings that you have in tech, to say, okay, it is actually well positioned, especially as we begin to look at how the United States is looking to attract these top talents. These are the things that it would then be in the national interest to waive the job offer and the electronic review permanent program certification requirements, and allow you to file for your green card directly without having to get an employment here in the United States. And so this is the list of documentation that you would need to file for the EB2-NIW. And my colleague, Chidi, are you ready? My colleague, Chidi, would actually take the presentation from here because he's our technical partner and he would take you through the technical details. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Can you all hear me?
Loud and clear, Chidi. Welcome.
Okay. Good afternoon from here. I'm actually joining from Rochester, New York. And good evening, any part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Chidi Okem. Like Bumi introduced me, one of the technical partners. And I'm going to take you through the technical parts of this presentation. So like she mentioned earlier, the NIW EB2 is the green card pathway, which is employment-based. NIW simply means national interest waiver, and the EB2 means employment-based second preference. So we have the EB1, which is employment-based first preference. We have the EB2, we have EB3, EB4, EB5. But today, our focus is on the EB2. Now, what are the criteria that you need to get this EB2? There are just three simple things. One, that you have an advanced degree. That advanced degree could be a master, it could be PhD, it could even be some other professional qualification, not necessarily a master degree, provided you can prove that is qualified for an advanced degree. Secondly, you must have minimum of 5-year work experience if you have an advanced degree. If you have a bachelor degree, you must prove minimum of 10 years work experience. Then your proposed endeavor is one of the most important things here. The slide Bumi showed earlier, this one, is a function of the proposed endeavor, right? So what are these proposed endeavor? They want to look at your skill. They want to look at your educational qualification. They want to look at your work experience. How can you integrate these three things to have something to do in the US? I'm going to use a simple term. Take, for example, you've been in business for like 5 or 10 years, either as a consulting or rendering some professional services in IT-related field, any area that you think you're going to bring to the US that without a job offer, you're contributing to the US economy. What that simply means that you are bringing value to the US economy. So how do you prove that your educational qualification, your professional experience is going to add value to the US economy? Once you can prove that, you're good to go. You're good to go. So what are those things you need to prove? First, if you have a PhD or currently doing a PhD program, what is your research work on? How does that research field contribute to the US economy? There are about 15 to 20 areas of expertise that the US economy are looking for individuals who have specialized skill in those fields. One of them is IT, machine learning, AI, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. You have sustainability, renewable energy, emission reduction technology, and all of that. So once you fall within those fields, biotechnology is also inclusive. Once you fall within those fields, you're good to go. But the fact that you fall within this field is not enough to guarantee that you get approval. You must show that, yes, this field is relevant to the US economy. I have necessary skill, and I have the professional qualification to show that I have this skill and also to continue my proposed endeavor in the US. So these are the three major prongs that you need to actually get this. And the beauty of this is that this can actually be done within 15 days. If you are to go through the premium processing, like you submit today, you meet all the criteria, within 15 days, between 15 to 45 days, you can get the result of your submission. If you are going through the regular one, it takes between minimum of 8 months to 18 months for the regular one, and that will cost you about $715. But if you're going through the premium processing, it's going to cost you $2,805 for the premium processing, then $715 in addition to the $2,805, which is a total of $3,520. And within 15 to 45 days, you get feedback. So once that is done, there are 2 stages. The first one is what we call the NIW EB2 application process, which you have from I-140. Once you are approved from I-140, you then move to the next stage, which is called Form I-485, simply called adjustment of status. So you've met the first criteria. Having your NIW EB2 approved is like 80%, you're 80% gone already. So the 485 adjustment of status is just for you to apply for the green card. And within a period of, say, within 3 to 6 months, you have your physical green card with you. Now, how do I meet all these criteria? If you have a BSc and a master's degree, and you have done like 5-year work experience, you have up to 10, better, but minimum of 5-year work experience with a master's degree or a PhD. Minimum of 10 years work experience with a bachelor degree. If you are a business person, this is the best option for you because they're looking at US economy is a function of entrepreneur, small and medium price organization, SMEs. So SME is actually the building block of the US economy. So if you have any business skill, the US economy is the right place for you to be. But how do you put all your business plan together? They want to see that your business plan is relevant to the US economy. You're bringing value to the US economy. you're going to create job, at least minimum of 5 employment through that your proposed endeavor. Once you're able to prove this, you're good to go. And the funny thing about or let me say the good thing is, two people can be in the same field, but they have different proposal. I could be in IT, my interest could be in cybersecurity. Somebody else could be in IT, his own interest could be in identity theft. So you need to look at how my own area of interest matches with the value the US economy need. You could be a mechanical engineer and your interest could be on renewable energy. You could be a petroleum engineer, your interest could be carbon emission reduction. So it's a function of your interest. And also, I must say this, do you belong to any professional organization? That is also another criteria they look at, because they want to look at the professional organization you belong to, that through your professional organization, you have done service related to that field, and you have all the necessary qualification to continue in that field of expertise. So once you have all of this, brothers, sisters, you're good to go. So at this point, I will stop now and allow for questions. Then we'll take it after the Q&A session.
As the questions come in, I just wanted to mention the approval rates so far for the EB2-NIW, so that you can see the approval rate as really, you can see as a 2023, 93,000 applied and 81,000 approval. That's a 90% approval rate so far. And it's one of the visas that has gotten a lot of approvals because of the political climate. Election year is very close. Biden is bidding for another year and Trump is about to, so because of that, obviously Democrats, they are immigrant friendly. So they have opened the doorway. Immigrants, please come in because we need more votes. So please take advantage, because the last time we had this kind of advantage was in Obama years, and you knew what it was during the Trump period. So please enter now. It's just what I want to say before we take the questions and answers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chidi and Bumi. Thank you for this information you've shared so far. I see there are questions coming from the chat. I'll be taking those questions, and there are a few questions from the community as well. Bumi, if you can just stop sharing screen for a moment.
Okay, I'll do that now.
Yeah. So a number of questions have come in already, but I wanted us to just emphasize something. Somebody asked a question about, is this just restricted to IT? I'll take a part of the answer, but then I'll ask Chidi or Bumi to also take the answer. The visa itself is not restricted to IT, but you are currently on eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. On eMigr8 Tech Visa, we focus strictly on the field of technology. And so even though the visa is not, we are biased towards the technology aspect of things. And so Chidi or Bumi, do you want to talk a bit more around generally the visa for people that are not yet in tech and not necessarily interested in getting into tech?
Okay, so the visa, yes, Barry specifically told us before we came on board that please focus on the tech people. So that's why you hear us talk a lot more towards the tech guys. But the visa itself is not only for those in tech. It's not only for those in tech. We have medical professionals. We have those in STEM, that's in the sciences. We have those in the arts. We have those in business. So it depends on how you're positioned, especially if you're professional in your field and you already have master's degree, PhD, you've worked for a number of years, you've received awards in your field, you've done publications in your field, you have people, top guys in your field who can write references, who can write expert opinion about you. Definitely, please go for this visa. It's one of your sure ways. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And hopefully this that has answered that question. I'm sure somebody else will ask the question again before we end the session. And so another question in the chat says, someone that has been a full professional, but I don't have published papers. How can the person prove their skills?
Okay. Can I take that?
Yeah, please go
Yes,
ahead.
please, Chidi.
Okay, so you don't actually need to have papers for you to petition for NIW EB2. As long as you have a master's degree, you only need to add publication if you are in research field, because you're showing that you're going to continue your research work. They want to see that prior to this time, you have some research publication articles. But if you're going into business, there's no correlation between the research work and going into business. So your proposed endeavor determines the kind of document you're going to provide. Does that answer your question? Then also, let me also take another question here. Somebody mentioned, can I have NIW EB2 and still remain in the UK and come to the US maybe once in a while? The answer is no. The NIW EB2 is a visa, it's a green card. So you can't have a green card in the US and you are staying outside of the US. You can only do that after you've gotten your passport, US passport, your citizenship. But while you are in your green card, you cannot stay outside of the US more than 6 months.
Yeah. And that's important to say. I'm combining questions, Chidi, but now that we're in this particular conversation, because emigrate community, we have some people, entrepreneurs, they would rather stay in their home economy, but then they are looking for options for their family and things like that. So it's interesting you talked about this 6 months and all of that. So is it possible that I could be running businesses from anywhere in the world and then I'm coming to the US as long as I stay the 6 months? I would say to the community, this is not immigration advice nor legal advice. This is just sharing from experience. But for that person that is a senior person in the field, looking at options for their family, looking at options of being globally attractive, is it just a case of just being in the US 6 months, or are there some other considerations?
Okay,
So
so
what
once,
he is trying to say,
okay,
sorry, Chidi, that I got into your talk. You cannot stay 6 months outside of the US, meaning that if you stay 5 months wherever you are, be in here at least a month or thereabout to break it so that you're not 6 months. 6 months means that you have abandoned residence. You are a citizen, a resident of the United States. That's what that green card is. So you have to always break it. So even if you're living in the UK, wherever, always make sure you're here within every 6 months, in and out, in and out. No matter how many times you go in and out, nobody's asking you questions, but do not abandon your residence.
Right. Right. And Chidi, do you want to add to that?
yeah, that answered it perfectly.
That
Yeah.
answered it, yeah. And just bear in mind that the reason why the visa is available is the fact that the US wants you to help them develop their economy, right? So bear that in mind in terms of making decisions that works best for you as an individual. But yes, definitely you want to ensure that you are not also going against the terms of the visa that you've been given, and there are different considerations at the point of citizenship as well that will be checked. So please do bear that in mind as well on that question. But yeah, back to the question I was going to go to, which is around do it yourself. So a question that we've had a lot from the community is around, can I do this application myself? I've seen this petition. It's like a Bible, very big, with a lot of paper and all of those kind of things. But yeah, there are people that are adventurous like that say, oh, can I do this thing myself? Or do I absolutely need a lawyer? Or do I absolutely need a coach? And so on. I don't know if you can speak to those people one way or the other. I'll start
Okay,
with Chidi and then we'll go to Bumi.
okay. The answer is yes. You can actually do it yourself. However, if you come across some roadblock, the money you're trying to avoid, you will spend times 2 of it. You can use a lawyer, you can use a consultant, you can do it yourself. But once you do it yourself, there are 3 scenarios. Either you do it yourself Without any issue, you get approval directly, no issue. You could do it yourself. You get RFE, request for evidence. Once you get to that road, most lawyers wouldn't want to talk to you. If they want to take up your case, they will charge you more. Because let's assume they charge, say, $5,000 initially, and you did it yourself, you got RFE, request for evidence, they will charge you $10,000 to take up your case because they're going to start the case all over again, right? And once you get RFE, you have between 84 to 90 days to respond to those RFE. So you're under pressure. You've spent so much money in doing it yourself. Now you're spending more money to do it again. So if you're not sure of that, I'll advise use a consultant or a lawyer who can help you write this petition because there's some language that is required of you to submit your petition. It is not the regular Nigerian English. There are some specific terminology that they're looking out for. This consultant, this lawyer, understand the right language to use to get this result. Because if you get RFE, you're still good. But if you get notice of denial, like 90% chances that you're not going to get it. So to avoid all of this, if you're not confident you could do it yourself, please use professional who understand how this process works. That will help you better. And most time, you could use a consultant or a lawyer and you still get RFE. The burden is not on you. The burden is on the consultant or the lawyer to take up the case and ensure that all the RFE that is requested will be provided accordingly. Thank you.
Fantastic. Bumi, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so one of the things we do as a firm is that we first of all pre-screen your case. I told Mbadi that before you even do, if you sign up with us, for instance, we want to see your CV. We're not going to start with collecting money from you. We're going to start with pre-screening you to see your CV and see how you're positioned. Because unless we see your CV, we'll be able to advise you, don't even go near EB2-NIW. You will get a denial. Or go near it, but you need to add this certification, that certification. We had like a client last week, an IT consultant who had 20 years experience. And we were able to see gaps in his CV and say, look, until you close these gaps, don't let us start this process because it would. So those are the advantages that you have when you use consultants or you use a firm or use, because we also work with lawyers. Because when you get the denial or even the RFE, trust me, it destabilizes you a lot of times. There's just a way it just destabilizes you, especially because you now have a hurdle to cross. But someone who was dealt with different cases before will be able to navigate and guide you. So that's just what I want to add to what Chidi said. We will definitely drop our contact details for you to be able to send us emails, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and then we can continue. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. And a question comes up, which is the question of, can I apply again? Should I get denied? Is it possible for me to apply again, or will there always be an automatic denial?
So the answer, you can apply as many times as possible. If you get denial, so for the I-130, you can apply as many times as possible. However, if you do concurrent filing for the EB1 and you're denied of 485, which is adjustment of status, your chances of getting it after denial is very slim because they want to know why you were denied in the first place. But for the I-140, the first stage, you can get denied as many times as possible. The only thing you lose is the money and the psychological trauma.
Interesting. And what are some of the reasons why they could get denied at the second stage? I mean, this is not immigration advice. You can decline screen as well. But are there some key reasons that you can share with the community why they could get declined at the second stage?
For the
he said concurrently.
Yeah.
He didn't say. So you have to. Okay, continue, Chidi, sir.
Okay. So for the NIW EB2, you can only file I-140. And if you're denied, you can reapply again. That does not stop you from reapplying, and that doesn't mean they will deny you. However, for the EB1, you can file concurrently, which means you're filing for I-140, I-485. I-485 is adjustment of status to get a green card. So if your I-140 is denied alongside with your concurrent filing with I-485, your I-485 will also be denied. Once that is denied, if you're filing again, you're only going to file for I-140 and wait for when I-140 is approved before you can file for I-485. However, once your I-140 is approved, you then need to explain to them why your 485 was denied in the first instance. That might take a whole lot of processing. So you wouldn't want to avoid that. You wouldn't want to go through that rather, right? So the best you could do is whenever you're filing, whether it's EB1 or EB2, but my best advice is only file for I-140. Don't do concurrent filing so that whatever happens, it doesn't affect your I-485, which is the adjustment of status. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Bumi, I think I'll come to you on this one to say, are there any age restrictions, anything to speak to people, either age restrictions?
US is not Canada. US will accept you whether you're 60, 90. They don't really send you like that. Like, just come and make money. That's all US is after. So there's no age restrictions. You can come with your entire family. You can come with as many your family. As far as they approve your I-485, you're good. If you're applying from outside Nigeria, it's also an intricate process. Unlike if you're already if you're filing from Nigeria, I mean, not from UK. UK is easy. But if you're filing from Nigeria, there are some other steps that we would need to also ensure to make sure that you're properly positioned. That would be in our one-on-one session with you. So we would take it on a case-by-case level.
A question is around, and I think this has been answered, but I will just take it from one side and then I'll hand over to Bumi. The question is, does your company undo the application from start to end? Should a person be qualified? And the part I'm going to start with is to say, from an eMigr8 community perspective, even if you are not qualified today, you can be qualified tomorrow. You want to be in a company of like-minded people that is working towards being qualified. And that's what the eMigr8 community does. The eMigr8 platform then takes it a step further to say, we are able to provide you coaches that are able to help you take the journey from you being qualified to you being actually endorsed, right? But Bumi, do you want to speak a bit more around the fact that, I mean, 100% success rate because you pre-qualify those that you work with, and also answering this question?
Okay, thank you very much, Buddy. So if you especially the question, please, it was about the fact that they already qualified and do we handle end-to-end? Yes, we handle end-to-end. That's why we start with the very process of getting your CV. So once we get your CV, I have a slide that shows our step-by-step process. Once we get your CV, let me just share that slide in a jiffy. 1 minute, please. Okay.
That's good.
Let me share the slide so you can see it at once. Sorry. So that I can just share it with you. Okay, this is a step-by-step process so that you can see it one after the other. So the first step is to send your CVs to myankeetravels@gmail.com. And then you book a session with us and we walk through your application. We walk through everything that you have, your documentation, your awards, everything. In that explorative session, you will literally open your life to us and tell us, this is where I've worked, this is the certifications I have. And then once we're done with that session, we show you the gaps that, okay, we need this, that. You share your folder with us, which is the folder that contains all of your documentation. And then we take your case and we begin to prepare it. It's like a legal case. So we have to sit down with the story you've told us, with the story you have, and then we prepare your case. So after 30 days, your case should be ready. You review it, and then we file with the USCIS. So that is the filing that takes 30 to 45 days for premium processing, and then 10 to 22 days, 22 months if you choose to go with normal processing, which we do not advise, especially with the political climate. And then you now have 3 responses, which is either request for evidence, approval, or denial. We've never had a denial. We've only had 1 case of an RFE, and immediately after we responded to it, we got a response back within 15 days, getting approval for that client. So we've never had a denial before. Our approval rate has been very, very up, because we pre-screen you, we pre-qualify you, we make sure that all the gaps that will cause issues, we would have already told you, this is going to be, we're not strong on this prong. Can you do this? Can you do that? And within these 30 days of us preparing your documentation, you can get in the certifications we need. You can get in everything that we need, because we will not file until we have a robust document. So we work with you end to end. We don't joke with anybody that we take on. Yeah.
Fantastic. So someone is asking around, do you think a master's degree in education from the US with more than 10 years experience in EdTech qualifies? It's not immigration advice, as we've said, but I don't know if Chidi or Bumi wants to take this. So this person
master's degree in education and has been practicing in the education space.
Yes. Yeah, and in education technology specifically for more than 10 years.
Oh, they qualify. Yeah. Chidi, right? They do.
Yeah, they qualify.
Yeah. Very education space needs people, so they qualify.
And that's a very rare combination, education and IT.
Education technology is very robust.
So it's a robust one, yeah.
Interesting. Somebody else is asking another do I qualify question. I have a brother who is an academician, 10 years experience, deputy director.
I think it's the same education space.
Yes, education space, master's in international business. And I think the answer is the same. It's a similar profile. And I will just start to talk a little bit more about the eMigr8 community, because you can see people asking questions back to back, talking about a similar profile. And so being in a like-minded community may be something useful for you if you're interested in this journey. So master's in economics in German university, 5 years of experience, but in different fields. Do I qualify?
Okay, the person will have to sit down with us, because we need to understand what different field is. That word, you have a master's in economics, is your field related to your master's. That's very important, because we will not be able to swing that. So we need to sit down with you and have a proper session to be able to understand what your work experience looks like, or even send us your CV, and then we can take it from there.
Okay. For this question, I would say this is one of the ones where you would want a private coaching session as well. This person is asking a follow-on question around the question of 6 months in the US, 5 months in, 2 months out, and things like that. I think it's best, there are no 2 people are the same, is what we'll say generally, and we wouldn't want to say something to one person that may not necessarily apply to somebody else. But if you would like to that conversation on, you can book a coaching session directly with my Yankee Travels, or you can book a coaching session on the eMigr8 platform as well. Whichever way, you can have a conversation with people that do know, or people that have had such experiences, because they have other people within the community that have done similar things. So that's what we just advise you do in terms of this question. We'll move on to the next one. So the next one will say master's degree computing information systems, graduate route in the UK, doing online course in data analytics, not much experience apart from uni works and current program. Please, which of these routes suits me the most? I'll just ask Bumi to say EB2. Does this person look like an EB2 material immediately? And then I can speak a bit more around the eMigr8 roadmap.
Okay, thank you very much, Buddy. I'll throw it to my technical advisor, Chidi, but I think he's a very good candidate. You don't have to have work experience, but your master's degree and the I like to focus on the thesis of the master's, and the focus of the master's should be able to position the person, and the person can start to do a lot of people use volunteering work here in the US to navigate the work experience. So there's a lot of volunteer with societies in school that people actually use to actually navigate the work experience here. People do a lot of judging, a lot of just volunteering within science communities, doing scholarship and yeah, but Chidi, please go ahead.
Yeah. Master degree in what again?
Master's degree in computing and information systems.
Okay.
Currently on the graduate visa route in the UK. Currently doing some online courses on data analytics, but fears that they don't have enough experience. Is this a good route for them? EB2, that is.
Yeah, it is. But we also need to know at what time did the fellow have his first degree?
Yeah.
Then the numbers of years between first degree and master. How many year work experience in addition to the master degree, or how many year work experience with the BRC? We need to have those information. But with a master in information technology, that qualifies you. But like we said, it's not just the master degree. What's going to be your proposed endeavor? We also need to look at that in the US. So we need to sit with you, look at your proposed endeavor and some relevant experience you've gotten from your BLC up till now. So we could put all of those together to see if you really qualify or not. But with the master degree, yes, you qualify. But that's not just alone. You need to factor other criteria and put all of them together before we could say, yes, we can take your case or not.
Fantastic. And before we move on to the other part of this person, should they not have even qualified, I would like us to speak a little bit about these 3-prong tests, right? So I can't remember what they are exactly. I have it written down somewhere. But could we talk a little bit more about that? Because aside from the master's degree and so on, there's this test that the US wants you to make sure that you are fulfilled. And so maybe this is a good time to remind the audience about those 3-prong tests.
Okay. Bumi, do you want me to take it?
Definitely. That's just
okay. So the first thing, there are 3 prongs. One, that you have an advanced degree. Second, that you belong to a professional organization in your field. Take, for example, you are an engineer. It is expected you belong to Quorum, right? Which gives you license to kind of practice your field. Then the last one is you have a proposed endeavor, what you intend to continue doing. The essence of the proposed endeavor is that they don't want you to compete with an average US citizen in that field. So there's something you're bringing, adding value, so that you become a threat to a US citizen who is in that field that you're coming to collect their job. That is the essence of the proposed endeavor. However, the fact that you have a proposed endeavor doesn't mean that once you get the green card, you must continue that business. They just want to see that you have the potential to bring value to the US economy. Now, under the proposed endeavor, I will now talk about the 3 criteria. One, that the proposed endeavor is of national importance to the US. What does that mean? Take, for example, I'm into IT. I want to use IT as an example because you're an IT platform. I'm a cybersecurity guru. And I have an advanced degree in information technology. I have 5-year work experience in IT and cybersecurity related. I'm coming to the US. I've discovered cybersecurity challenges in the US. Let me look at the case of theft, identity theft. So I'm coming to bridge this gap. The numbers of people suffering from identity theft in the US is so alarming. And with my cybersecurity skill, I am bringing this to solve that problem. Once you can put data, the numbers of families that have suffered from identity theft in the US, look at the economic implication of that to the US economy, and you're coming to fulfill that. You're solving social problem, you're solving economic problem, you're solving financial problem. With that alone, you have met that prong of national importance. The second prong is, are you qualified to carry on that proposed endeavor. How do you prove that? You have a master's degree in cybersecurity. You have 5-year work experience. You can prove that you've done it before, where you've worked in the past 5 years, showing that, yes, you've done it before. And with your academic qualification and work experience, you can prove that, yes, you've done it before, you have track record, and I'm going to do it in the US. That is your qualify, your position to carry on the proposed endeavor. That is the second prong. The third prong is, does it meet the substantial merit? Like, yes, is it fine? In the cybersecurity identity theft, is it relevant to the US economy? You know, the answer is yes. So you have to look at a field that you're bringing value in, your position, your well position through your academic qualification and your numbers of experience in that field, in addition to the membership organization you belong to. So if you're a cybersecurity expert, I expect you to belong to cybersecurity membership. And you must have that evidence to show that, yes, I'm a member of American Society of Cybersecurity, or I'm a member of the UK Association of Cybersecurity, or Nigerian Association of Cybersecurity. Once you belong to that professional organization, you have the master qualification, you have minimum of 5 years experience, bro, you're good to go.
Fantastic. And I think, I hope many people were listening, because hopefully you were self-assessing, and you were self-assessing to realize that, oh, I could probably, or maybe I'm already even qualified for this. And don't forget, we've said that if you wait till the end of this session, or you watch this replay video to the end, for those watching the replay video, we do have a gift for you. So you may want to ensure that you do wait till then. There's a question at the beginner level that I would like us to just tackle from two perspectives, Chidi and Bumi. And so this person is asking to say, and I'm going to widen the question a little bit, because it's not just Scrum Masters that have this same question. It's everybody, both on the technical side of technology and the non-technical side of technology. This person is saying someone is just starting in tech, already have some qualification, some certification. Would they qualify for the EB2 visa? So before you speak, Chidi or Bumi, I'm not sure who wants to take this. I would just like to mention, again, for those that are just joining us, welcome to the eMigr8 Open Day. Today's Open Day, we are focused on the EB2-NIW, which is the National Interest Waiver, EB2 visa. And what that is you need typically 5 to 10 years of experience in the field for you to be able to qualify. So this is one of the expert level visa opportunity available, right? But on the eMigr8 platform, over the years that we've existed, we've talked about different visa opportunities, some for the US, some for the UK, some for Canada, France, Germany, Australia, and several countries of the world. Next month, we will be talking about the Hong Kong Global Talent Visa. And so this session today, we are focused on EB2-NIW. That's our focus, but we can speak about some of those ones, but it's probably best for you to attend open days or watch the replay video, focus on those other visa opportunities. Now, the reason why I say that for this person, likely at the beginner level, is that even though you may not yet qualify for the EB2 visa, there may be other visas that you can qualify for quicker. That's one. Second thing is that because you don't qualify today does not mean you will not qualify tomorrow. And so it is best for you to then start working towards how can I qualify within the shortest possible time. And that may also need some assistance to say, oh, this is where I am at this moment. What do I need to do for me to get to the shortest possible point of being qualified? But I would like to throw the question from a perspective of growth to either Chidi or Bumi, because I know part of the requirement has to do with progressive growth, that you need to show. So things like salary, that you've been increasing in salaries and stuff like that. And so I would like you to use that to talk to these beginners to say, even if you are starting from level 0 today, what would you be looking at in terms of progressive growth? Or I can't remember the exact wording the US used for that. So I'm not sure, Chidi or Bumi. I know I set you up on.
Okay, let me start.
Okay, then.
So for the NIW, like Bumi mentioned earlier, it's like a free gift, honestly, because you don't need to have so much money. They're not asking you to provide your account statement. No. Somebody came to the US to study English, had first degree in English in Nigeria from Unilag, came to the US. She was still in her first year of master degree. She applied as a content creator, and she got it. Content creator. She was able to look at her field as somebody that studied English and said, I'm a content creator. I create content for organizations. I help media outfit to create content. And she was able to prove the importance of content creation, excuse me, and is relevant to the US economy. I got approved. So it's not a must be a science-related field, STEM, business. No. What are you bringing? So every individual have a different case, unique case, ability to prove the importance of your profession in that field. You're good to go. So it's a free gift for you starting without any experience, but you must meet the basic requirement. Do you have a master's degree? Do you have minimum of 5-year work experience? If you don't have those, to be honest with you, you have to wait until you meet those requirements. Because you're just a school leaver, you finish your first degree, and you went into your master, all combined, you have less than 3-year work experience. To be honest, you can get it. So minimum of 5-year work experience with a master's degree, and minimum of 10-year work experience with a bachelor degree. So you must meet these first 3 criteria before we can then look at your proposed endeavor, look at your qualification, look at the membership organization you belong to, and see how we can put all of this together to form a case for you. But once you don't meet those basic requirements, we can't take your case. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get denial. So the first thing we do is to screen you. But if you have a master's degree and you have 5-year work experience, you're qualified. But as a startup with less than 5-year work experience, we can't take such case.
Yeah. Something.
My addition is that you have Bade, who runs this eMigr8 school that can help you with your 5 years work experience. So if you don't have one, I think they are your perfect solution for starting to grow that work experience and to grow that tech experience that you need so that eMigr8 will prepare you. Then they can pass us on. But we can't take your case because you'll get a denial and you'll be on our net. We don't want, and you would have wasted money, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah. But I wanted you to speak, Bumi. I'm coming back to you to say we do have people who have had 10 years experience in their own country, Nigeria, Ghana, and so on. Then they moved to the UK. And so I wanted you to speak to UK masters people at this time. They moved to the UK and then they've done a 1 year or 1.5 years masters in the UK. So the key point being that they have a lot of experience before they did the masters. Do you want to speak to those people? Because sometimes when people hear experience, sometimes what they are hearing is experience after my master's.
No.
Oh, no, not
No,
at all.
no.
No. Whether you got the experience in Kano State in Nigeria, like in Kafacha, it doesn't matter. As far as the experience is relevant to your field and is relevant to the masters that you did. See, because the story has to be consistent. It has to be that I did bachelor's here. then maybe your work veered you off your bachelor's, but you did a master's that consolidated your work experience. That's where the story is consistent. Do you understand? So it has to be both. Everything has to tie up. So it doesn't matter where exactly you had the experience, not at all. You can even be residing in Nigeria. The masters could have been gotten from Unsuka. The masters could have been gotten from anywhere in India. It could be gotten from anywhere at all in the world. It's a master's degree, especially because we ask everyone, especially if you're coming from Nigeria, to do a WES evaluation. So that already puts you on on an equal pedestal with the US Masters, because it has been evaluated by a World Education Service or one of those evaluation companies. So again, it doesn't matter where the experience is from, where the master's itself is from. It doesn't matter, because I see a lot of questions around my master's is from Nigeria, my PhD is from Nigeria. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm going to combine all those questions. We're coming towards the end of today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We still have a lot of questions, so I'm going to have to combine quite a number of questions. Let's talk about H1B versus the EB2-NIW. The person that asked the question was asking around applying simultaneously. We've dealt with that. But then there are some people that are still stuck on it's only H1B that I need for me to be able to work in the US. Right. And we're talking about EB2. We've talked about the O1 visa in the past. We've talked about the EB1 visa, which I know you also offer at the moment in terms of coaching on that visa. So I wanted us to just talk a little bit about that for those still in that mindset to say it's H1B or nothing. So if I don't win the lottery, that's the end.
So what H1B gives you is a work authorization, but the work authorization is tied to the employer that did the visa, to the lottery for you. So now that it's tied to the employer, that means you can't leave that employer, even if the pay is shitty. You can't leave, you can't move. If anything happens and they lay you off, you become in emergency situation of 60 days to get a job. Compared to EB2, that it is work authorization to green card, and you don't need any employer at all. Trust me, a lot of people on H1B in the United States right now are switching fast to EB2-NIW. Very fast. It's like they're running a sprint. Like, let me get off this. Because a lot of people they want to be free from being paid less than their counterparts because they are not citizens. So everybody wants that leveler, because EB2 carries you to the leveler. Now the person asks if you can do both concurrently. In the US, you can do 10 different visas concurrently. Trust me, I have people who are doing EB1, EB2, H1B, O1. Like, I have a friend who did like 5 different visas at once. Now, it is now based on you. Even asylum, they added, I have somebody like that. But when you now get an approval on your visa, you now need to determine which visa you're going to use to convert to your green card. Your adjustment of status can only be on one visa. You cannot adjust status on multiple visas. So after you've gotten all those approvals, you now look at your visa very well. I would always advise EB2-NIW is actually a good one because it gives you green card. EB1-NIW, that is, if you get approval for that visa, that particular visa called EB1-NIW, you're one of the luckiest people on earth, because that one, you get your green card immediately, compared to EB2-NIW, where you have to wait for your date to be current. But EB1, EB2, fantastic visas to convert to green card. And it's a legal process. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. Not necessarily very simple, but very straightforward. You know exactly what you need to gather, and you know exactly what you're getting at the end.
Fantastic. What's the average duration? I have a number of questions around this. So we have people looking at duration from start to finish. How long would it take? So one of those questions says, this person is asking about get green card after I get EB2-NIW, but somebody else is asking to say, coming from Nigeria, what's the average duration for me to even get the EB2? I know you mentioned it earlier, but do you want to just reemphasize as we come towards the end of today's edition? I will say to the audience again, If you have questions, drop them in the chat. This is like the final call for that. And yeah, Bumi or Chidi, I don't know who wants to answer that in terms of duration.
Okay, let me take this. For the NIW EB2, if you are applying inside of Nigeria, inside of the US, if you're doing the premium processing, it takes between 15 to 45 days to get approval. However, once you get approval for the NIW EB2, currently, prior to this time, as of December 2022, once you get your approval, you apply for your green card. And within a space of 90 to 180 days, you get your green card. But currently, for the NIW EB2, there's a kind of retrogression. So it will take minimum of 1 year after your NIW EB2 approval before you can get your green card. Minimum of 1 year before you can. So you have to wait until your date becomes current for you to file for your adjustment of status to get your green card. If you're applying outside of the US, say from Nigeria, the first thing is to submit to NIW EB2. Once it's approved, if you're doing the premium processing, same 15 to 45 days, you get approval. If you're doing the regular one, it takes between 8 months to 22 months before you even get a feedback. Right? So which is why we advise you go through the premium processing. Once your NIW EB2 has been approved, it takes you minimum of 1 year. If you're applying outside of the US too, you have to get a document that you take to the embassy, the US embassy in Nigeria. You go through an interview. Once your date becomes current, you do your medical in Nigeria, and you must meet all the requirements before the green card is approved. But once it's approved, you're coming to the US with an approved green card. So minimum of 1 year, minimum, if you're applying outside of Nigeria. That if you're doing the NIW EB2, minimum of 1 year. But if it's EB1, you can get EB1 and get your green card within 90 days.
That's really interesting. We have a number of do I qualify questions, so I'm combining them together again. Somebody is asking, does a lawyer qualify? Somebody is asking, does a PhD in clothing and textiles, does that qualify? PhD level at that stage with 30 years of experience. I think we've answered that question multiple times. Somebody else is asking, insurance professional, 18 years, do that qualify? I'll just mention in terms of our eMigr8 community, I would like to say to our audience, I know a number of people are listening and also watching that are not in Nigeria. Don't think that we're only talking to Nigerians for this particular call. It's just that the facilitator and the coaches today were all from Nigeria, and that's why we keep referring to Nigeria specifically. But yeah, those three people, do they qualify? What would be the quick answer to every one of those ones?
For the PhD, qualified, and with that numbers of experience, if you have some good publication and some award, I think that PhD would have qualified for EB1.
Yeah, not EB2 now, EB1. You are probably
EB1, yeah.
EB1
so he qualified for the EB2, and if you look at that credential critically, he or she might qualify for EB1.
Yeah.
For the lawyer, in terms of academic qualification, the lawyer is qualified. However, because lawyers are not allowed to practice within Nigeria, or if you have a law degree outside of the US, for you to practice law in the US, you must write the US bar exam, like the New York bar exam, or whatever state you want to live in, before you can practice law. So if your proposed endeavor is to continue to practice law in the US, you must show evidence that you must have registered with the New York bar exam to show that, yes, you want to continue practicing law in the US. But if having a law degree outside of the US and you want to practice law in the US, it might be a bit difficult to prove because you must have the license to practice law in the US before you can petition as a lawyer in the US. However, if you have done some other business, law-related business that you think, yes, is relevant to the US economy, you could go ahead. But we need to look at your resume before we could say, yes, you're qualified. But with a law degree, a master's degree, you are qualified. However, you need to prove that your proposed endeavor is relevant in the US. If you want to practice law, you must have evidence that you are registered with any of the state bar exam, or you have the bar exam pass before you can petition as a lawyer in the US. Bumi, over to you.
You've done justice to the question of do I qualify or don't I qualify? I do know everybody, but please send in your resumes. These answers are just off the top of our head. Send in your resume because this is just a very short profile, but your resume helps us to truly know if you qualify or not. Without your resume, we're just talking based on just 4 paragraphs. Meanwhile, your resume is actually what really shows what your life experience and life work has been. So please, we're receiving resumes, send in your resume, and then we can give you a proper response.
Okay, sorry, somebody said the insurance. Yes, insurance is qualified. However, do you have minimum of 5-year work experience with a master's degree? Secondly, insurance is big in the US. So for you to prove your proposed endeavor, take for example, if I'm in this field, right, and I want to position as an insurance practitioner, I look at some gray area insurance sector that are not popular. Take for example, I could take a case like environmental insurance, which I will look at renewable energy, pollution and all those stuff. This area are not popular. So you can look at areas that are not popular in insurance. It could be even agri insurance. So look at what is obtainable currently. Look at insurance field that are not popular in the US but are relevant to the US economy. That could be your case. So because insurance is big in the US, so it's going to be hard to come as an insurance practitioner, and what are you bringing in? There are a lot of big players in the field, right? So you must bring something unique that could say, yes, I'm an insurance practitioner and I'm looking at this area. So what area are you looking at that is not being explored currently? You must factor that before you say, yes, I want to petition. Does that answer your question?
I believe it does. I believe it does. And if the person would like a further conversation, they know what to do. You can contact my Yankee Travels directly. Please mention you came from eMigr8 community, right? Or you can also contact eMigr8 community. The community managers will also be able to signpost you directly to my Yankee Travels, Bumi and Chidi. Chidi and Bumi, I'm going to come back to you in a moment. And when we come back, we would like you to speak to 5 categories of our audience in the eMigr8 community. First category are beginners. They have not started their journey in the field of tech and they're just looking at what they need to do. Second category, intermediate people. Third category, highly experienced people, right? Then the fourth category are people in different countries of the world that they don't have a pathway to settlement. UK is one of those ones that we saw a number of people ask questions on from the community, but then they are in different countries in Europe and so on. They are not in their home country, but then they don't have a pathway to settlement. They are also, in some cases in the US as well, no pathway to settlement. Is there an advice you can give them along the lines of what we've been discussing? And then finally, people that are ready to apply, what would be your advice to them? But that would be when we come back. I would also say to the audience to say, if you wait till the end, as I said, there's a gift for you. I'm just going to run a few slides just to remind us of some of the things that we talked about earlier for those just joining us. And then we'll come back to Chidi and Bumi, who are going to be speaking about those things that I've just mentioned as we proceed towards rounding up today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. I believe it's been really, really informative. Don't forget that if you're a newbie or you're at beginner or intermediate level, what you should be doing is have some sort of personalized roadmap to yourself around how you can qualify for these visa opportunities. Don't say, I don't qualify, there's nothing I can do. We talked about the eMigr8 landscape and the fact that it's available to you. We talked about the fact that if you're globally attractive, you have options, and that's what we do on the eMigr8 platform. We talked about multiple visa opportunities that we curate on the eMigr8 community and also on the eMigr8 platform, and with eMigr8 packages available to help you make the best advantage, take the best advantage of many of these visa opportunities. So those are things that you want to take a look at. We talked about some of the services that could be of help to you. We talked about the Global Tech Program to help you get into the field of tech. And also, if you're at the intermediate level, if you're looking at building experience in tech, this is also fantastic for you at the beginner, intermediate level. And then if you're highly advanced, mentoring with evidence of that mentoring would be useful. The Global Tech program is useful, but Labs by Beacom is also absolutely useful if you are looking at building a business, a startup that could be your ticket to some of these visa opportunities. And we talked about a tech career coaching service that could help you land work that comes with work visa sponsorship in the UK that is available to you on the eMigr8 platform. Take a screenshot of this. It's the link to the different eMigr8 communities where you can join. WhatsApp is currently our best community to join, but the WhatsApp community is a guided community. What you want to do is join any of the other communities first, and then you can ask the community manager to say you would like to be upgraded to the WhatsApp community. We have a number of coaches on those communities that are able to answer your questions. So you can share, you can comment, you can like, you can ask questions, and coaches would be able to answer those questions in terms of engagement. We have a number of eMigr8 packages that you should know about, and we talked about a number of them. I will talk about one of those packages shortly, but don't forget that on the eMigr8 platform, we offer a freemium model where we do a number of things for free, but then we charge a premium for a number of our services as well, including this package we are bringing to you today in partnership with My Yankee Travels. If you're interested in any of the things that eMigr8 is offering, best thing to do is go to emigrate8visa.com and then you fill the form, or use any of the links on the screen or as dropped by my colleagues, and they're able to help you take advantage of it. Don't forget that we talked about the Settle in the UK as a tech talent. That's our premium eMigr8 offering at the moment. That comes with an eMigr8 guarantee at the moment in terms of a guarantee of success for the UK. If you're looking at settling in the UK, even if you haven't started your journey in the field of technology today, we are able to enroll you, but you need a minimum of 3 to 6 months to be able to use that package. But that package is available and highly recommended for you as well. So, and then I mentioned that if you stay till the end, we had a gift for you. This is the gift. And so please listen carefully. The gift is short one-to-one coaching sessions that are at no cost to you, free of charge, basically. For you to be able to claim the gift, what you need to do is you need to go to the eMigr8 community between now and tomorrow, within the next 24 hours of you seeing this, and you need to go on the community to say you attended this session and you have won a short coaching session. If you let them know on the community manager will be able to signpost you to what you need to do next for you to be able to claim that coaching session. Before you do the coaching session, we advise, because we are only able to do one per person. So we advise you to do all the research possible. This video, for example, is available on YouTube, so you can replay it later. Get all the information that you need. Go and Google about the visa. Google about the requirement. Don't go to that session and ask questions that you could simply have answered by Googling. Go to the personalized coaching session. to ask questions that is unique to your own personal circumstance. And you will be making the best use of the coach's time and the best use of your time as well. So those are the kinds of questions you want to go into the session to do. But because you have waited till this time on the eMigr8 open day of today, you have qualified to be given that one-to-one coaching session. And so please go ahead and claim it. If you do not let us know, there's no way we would know it's you, right? So please ensure that you let them know on the community page that you have won this. And because you've won this, you're able to take it to the next level. You're able to take it to the next level. Apologies, I just realized my video has not been on for a while, but I'm back on video now. So yes, so that's what we were talking about, and now we're coming back towards the end of the session, and so I wanted to come back to those questions to say, what would you say to the beginner? What would you say to the intermediate? And so let's start with the beginner, absolute beginner, just getting into the field of technology, just getting into the field. What would you advise them as regards this whole idea of being globally attractive so they can attract visas from different countries of the world?
Okay.
Bumi,
Did
please.
you want me to? Oh, okay. So for the absolute beginner, like I said initially, Bad is your go-to guy. Because that you need to build that tech experience so that we can have something to add to your profile, so you can be globally relevant. You can also begin to look at remote work options, which I believe that eMigr8 shows you how to navigate all of that. Again, to build your field, to also build money and credibility on in the field as well. So that is probably my advice for the tech startup guys. You can also start a business like the eMigr8 community helps you to do, because I've consulted them a number of times on tech startups that I have in my head. So again, they have a very good thing on that. Who is the next set of people? Can you describe their profiling?
People, they have 4 to 5 years, 6 years experience in the field, software developer, product managers, people like that. They are the intermediate level in terms of their skill and their career, and they are also looking for what's my next step at this point. What would you advise them?
And they only have a BSc.
They only have a BSc. They have 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years experience in the field of tech, but they're already doing stuff in the field.
Okay. Such people without who are just starting out and have 3, 4, 5 years experience will probably want to build up on the experience if it's just BSc, or look for a way to start their masters. That way, with the masters, they can leverage the experience that they already have and get into the EB2-NIW and get the green card. Or they can decide to build on the experience, which can take a longer time compared to, I mean, you have to have additional 5 years, which is 10 years. But if you do the masters, you are able to. And I typically advise the masters in the US, because then you would have crossed the hurdle of the visa that you needed to come in here. So from here, it's easier to switch to your green card once you get your EB2-NIW approval. So basically, that's my advice for that group.
Oh, fantastic. And we're now looking at the highly advanced people, 10, 15, 20 years in the field of technology, head of IT in a bank, CIO somewhere, senior product manager somewhere, those kinds of people that have very, very intense experience in the field of technology.
Okay, those that have very intense experience, though there's a level before them, those who already have 10 years experience, but those who now have the highest experience, those already with 10 years experience, please put in for your EB2-NIW already. Send us your CV because you're already properly positioned. Some of you think that publication is the only thing, but your master's thesis is already a publication. You don't need publication in a lot of papers. And we have IT guys who, what they used to qualify was Bitcoin presentation. I don't know how to explain it. Like they had this Bitcoin, I don't know, maybe he did research in Bitcoin or created a platform. Yeah, it was a platform. So if you have apps, you have platforms you've created software, that have solved solutions, maybe solution of sustainability, solution of climate, solution in tech, solution in cybersecurity, solution. It just depends on whatever app you've developed. So we can always leverage that to actually build. Again, we just want to prove that your career path, your personhood, your area of importance is very important to the United States, and you should be here consulting for them, working for them, helping the economy. So that's what. And those that are already in the highest cadre who have head of IT, we would love to welcome you to our EB1 group. Like we said, the guy with the 30 years experience, EB2-NIW is for you because you have reached the highest citadel of your experience. So that alone gives you that profile for you to be able to come in as EB1, because in EB1, it's more stringent. They will look at it closely. And I believe that after spending so much years, you would probably have a lot of very critical experts that can speak to your authority in the field, because then you are an authority in the field. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And
yeah, I just want to add one or two things. For the beginner, please go join those professional organizations.
Yeah.
And become a member of this professional organization.
Exactly. Yes.
Very, very key.
Very critical.
Very, very critical. So then if you're also in IT, one of the major issues in IT is security. If you can develop technology that has to do with blockchain technology, you're good to go. Because the security that comes with blockchain technology, most industries are trying to apply blockchain technology in almost every field of human endeavor. Even in construction, people are trying to apply blockchain technology in the construction industry.
Yeah.
You could ask, what is the relationship between construction industry and blockchain technology? But I can break it down to you. So look at application of blockchain technology in any field of human endeavor for IT. That could give you a fantastic proposed endeavor that you want to petition for. Thank you.
Fantastic. Chidi, I was coming to you for the other two category anyway, but I'll just say that one of the fast growing field in tech at the moment as well, for particularly the intermediate guys, is generative AI. And even if you are not in tech, you can actually figure out how you can use generative AI for your own industry, legal, insurance, construction, and so on. And then there's the VR, AR that you may want to look at as well. But Chidi, thank you so much for that. Chidi, I want to take the last two categories to you. Second to the last category are people in different countries of the world. They don't have a pathway to settlement, so they will need to switch their visa one way or the other. Do you have any advice in addition to what Bumi has said?
Are they currently in the US?
Some of them are in the UK, some of them are in the US, some of them are in France, some of them are in Canada. So you can speak to the different categories.
Okay. For those are outside of the US and you're currently not in your own country, take for example, you're in the UK, you're in Canada, you're in Ghana, you're in South Africa, you must have a resident permit in your country before you are qualified to apply. If not, you must go back to your country of birth to submit your application.
Yeah.
But if you must have minimum of, as you must have like a resident permit in your current country to qualify you to apply from that country. If you don't have that, you are applying from Nigeria. So that once your EB2 is approved, if you don't have a resident permit in that country, you must go back to your country of birth to submit your application. If you're in the UK, you have resident permit in the UK, you can apply for NIW EB2. Once it's approved, you can file your petition from the UK, provided you have resident permit in the UK. Same thing goes for Canada, South Africa, Australia, any country you are, as long as you have resident permit of that country. Then, if you're in the US and you are not, probably your visa category has expired, take for example, you're in B1, B2 visa, it's much complicated. So the first thing you want to do is to change your status to become current. Take for example, you're on unexpired B1, B2. I will advise you to first of all change your status to like F1, go apply for a course get an admission, then you could petition to change your status from B1, B2 to F1 because before you apply for B1, B2, NIW EB2 in the US, your visa status must be current. If it is not current, you will be denied. So ensure that if you're on B1, B2, expire B1, B2, you can still go to school, apply for admission. Once you get that admission, the school will help you to change your status from B1, B2 to F1. Then it becomes easy for you to apply for NIW EB2 if you're already in the US. If you're in the US and you're either in the refugee category or you are an asylum seeker, I wouldn't advise you to do NIW EB2. Reason being that you have a case already with the UICS. Now, you filing for NIW is like you're going to abandon your first case. However, you need to know the level of your case. Has it been approved? If it has been approved, yes, you wait till your date becomes current, you're filing for your green card. If you just came into the US and you're filing for asylum, wait until you get the first stage approval before you submit any application. Please, so that you don't get your process complicated, because they want to see you're submitting your current status. So you're submitting for NIW EB2 and you're an asylum seeker, you're contradicting yourself. So, but if you're on B1, B2 and your B1, B2 is current, if you're on F1, if you're on J1 visa and your status is current, please go ahead and apply for NIW EB2. But if you're an asylum seeker, you're a refugee, and you have declared that status, please wait until you get a feedback before you take any further step, because it might complicate issues for you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Coming to the last category, and I'm going to be asking Chidi and Bumi for the last category, and that will be us rounding up this open day. But I'll just say to everyone again, don't forget, this is not legal advice. This is not immigration advice. This is us just sharing from our experiences. All right. So last category, ready to apply now. What would you advise them to do? I'll start with Chidi and then go to Bumi.
Okay. So if you have met the criteria, you have a master's degree with minimum of 5-year work experience, you have a proposed endeavor in mind, or we can also provide that service to you. The next thing is to send us your CV, your resume. The difference between resume and CV, resume could be like 1 page, but a detailed CV. We want to see your academic qualification. We want to see your work experience. We want to see the membership of organization you belong to. Then we can now take up your case. So we need your CV, your detailed CV first. Then we'll come back to you and tell you, yes, you're qualified. Then we'll take it to the next stage. So the first thing you need to do, send us your CV. We'll take a look at your CV. We'll get back to you within 48 hours. Then we can take up your case.
Thank you so much. Bumi, same question, ready to apply, but there's one question I think we missed, which was someone with a post-graduation diploma. What of someone with I think it's the same question of do I qualify, but would you speak to that, please? Someone ready to apply, and then maybe also touch on this post-graduation diploma question.
Okay, postgraduate diploma.
Yeah, Chidi, go ahead.
In Nigeria and postgraduate diploma in the US are two different things entirely. As long as you have a bachelor degree in Nigeria and you've done a postgraduate diploma, the US accept that as an advanced degree. So your postgraduate diploma in Nigeria is accepted as an advanced degree here in the US. Okay, it's accepted. So once you have that, you are qualified to apply. However, do you have minimum of 5-year work experience in addition to your postgraduate diploma degree? If the answer is yes, you're good to go. But if you have less than 5-year work experience, even with your postgraduate diploma, you're not qualified. Does that answer that question? So you must have minimum of 5-year work experience in addition to your postgraduate diploma.
Yeah.
Then you're qualified. But if you do West evaluation, because most postgraduate diploma are 1 year too. Some postgraduate are even more than 1 year. And a master's degree in the US, some courses are just 1 year. Yeah. So if you have that with minimum 5-year work experience with your postgraduate diploma, you're qualified. Let's have your CV, then we'll take it up from there.
So Bumi, over to you. Ready to apply?
Okay, ready to apply. Please send us your CV with your, like Professor Chidi said, a very detailed CV, not just a one-page resume that shows all the documentation we emphasize, the associations you belong to, your awards that you've received, publications, whether just your master's, whether your master's thesis, whether just publications in the newspaper, whatever publications you have. And if you don't have, just let us know. But the associations you belong to are very critical. Your volunteering role, your judging works, all of that, your experience itself, all of that should be on the CV so that we can, again, look at your case very properly and then book a session with us and we can do a deep dive, especially if you've seen all of the things we've talked about and you're like, look here, I qualify for this thing. Take steps now. You have a window of just 3 quarters, that's 9 months before election. So take steps now.
Fantastic. And I think those are nice words for us to use to close today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Don't forget that these opportunities are available today. And for some of us on the call, we already qualify. Don't wait till when policies change. And a lot of immigration policies change all the time. Sometimes the policy itself may not change, but the way the case officer will assess may change. So the door is open right now. They've let you know some of the things that you should have, some of the things that you should be doing, some of the things that you could do right now, even if you don't already qualify for this particular visa opportunity. And so it's up to you to take advantage of it and take advantage of the information. My final word would just be that don't forget that if you do nothing with this information, you are not much better than the person that didn't even know about this opportunity in the first place. So the first thing that you should be doing is that you now know, do a self-assessment, have your own roadmap. And this is part of why we're building the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. We're going to be launching that soon. I'll keep talking about it. I'm really excited. I've seen the app, so I'm really excited. You want to build a roadmap for yourself to say, this is where I am. This is what they are expecting my result sheet and answer script to look like. What are the gaps that I do have? And I'm not just talking about the US EB2-NIW, which is the visa we chose to focus on this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. I'm also talking about the several different visa opportunities like the UK Global Talent, like the UK Innovator Founder Visa, like the Canada Startup Visa, like the Hong Kong Global Talent Visa. We'll be talking about that in a future eMigr8 Open Day. And there are several of these visa opportunities for you as a talent, and particularly for you as a tech talent. Make the best advantage of it. And if you need support, eMigr8 community is available to you. If you need that support, don't forget that you can join the community, you can ask questions, you can interact with other people of like mind. We have the eMigr8 Circle, which is our premium community as well. And so if you are doing it yourself, you've chosen to do that, eMigr8 Circle may be a fantastic community for you to join, because that gives you additional support at a minimal fee, that is. And then finally, of course, we do have packages focused on these different visa opportunities. We focus on the package in partnership with My Yankee Travel today, and you can contact My Yankee Travel directly. Don't forget to just let them know that you came from eMigr8 community. They will actually give you a discount because you came from eMigr8 community, or you can also contact eMigr8 directly, and then we'll signpost you to the team at My Yankee Travel as well. The important thing is take action, and take action now. Thank you so much for joining us in this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Bumi, thank you so much. Chidi, thank you so
Thank you. Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
I'll ask the community as well. If you are gotten value, could you drop in the chat here? Could you drop in the comments if you're watching the replay video? Could you also drop in the communities as well to say this was useful? Part of why we keep doing what we do in terms of organizing these open days, sharing free information and knowledge, and spending relationship on this is because we get your feedback to say this has been useful. So don't deny us that opportunity of that feedback. Let us know immediately if this was useful for you. Let us know how we can improve as well. If you believe that there are ways we can improve the community, because the community is actually there for you. Don't forget, if you are interested in the free one-to-one coaching session that you've won because you're on this call at this point, what you simply need to do is declare on the community that you've won that one-to-one coaching session. And what would happen is that the community managers will let you know what you need to do to be able to claim that one-to-one session. Thank you so much, everyone. And we do wish you the very best and see you at the